Mic test. Yeah, it's fine.
Great. I just be here on this platform. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for giving the time. Swati, good afternoon.
Hello, great to be here. Thank you so much for coming in. We know the stalls outside are quite exciting and you have to take a detour to come in, and hopefully some more will keep coming. But I'm glad to be speaking with you today, Reshma. I've been following your work, and Toss the Coin is doing some really nice creative work. So I'm also looking forward to getting to know you more.
Thank you. Thank you, Swati. In fact, I have a very silly founder joke. If I can just start with that.
Why not?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Founder.
Founder who?
Founder me, founder you. So, welcome to this. Of course, this is a bad one. If any of you have a better joke, please come and meet me and let me know.
This was not rehearsed, guys, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I just put it on her. No,
No,
I
no.
think Swati, the whole thing is, you know, I get very excited as a founder to be talking to another founder because I think we are a tribe that brings a vibe and an energy that is contagious, and that is what we look forward to. Just sharing some conversation time with another founder to try and understand, are we doing it right and are we doing it well enough? So that is where the whole thing, when they came up and said, can you moderate a session on confessions of a founder with Swati? I said, okay, this is where we're going to get the real deal. So I'm sure all of us are looking forward to that. Before we start, if you could just, while he did a great work on introducing you, if you could just, from in your own words, tell me about yourself and Cash Karo, that'll be nice.
Yeah, I'll do it if you do it after me as well,
Promise.
because even
Thank
I
you.
want to know you. So I grew up in a small town called Ambala. It's in North India. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. And from there, I got a scholarship to study in Singapore for my A levels, and then a scholarship to the London School of Economics. So I studied there and worked at Goldman Sachs in London for 5 years after that, doing investment banking. Around that time, my husband Rohan and I, we were married. We were looking out for ideas to start our own business, and the idea of cashback really interested us because we thought, it's a if you are getting free money on your online shopping, why won't you do it? So the only reason we figured people weren't doing it is because they didn't know that ऐसा कोई concept exists करता है, and everybody thinks that this is too good to be true. Online shopping करने में पैसे मिलेंगे वापस. So, but we knew that it is true and it is too good, which is why we got into it. And we started there. Then we grew our business to India. We came here about 10 years ago, launched Cash Karo, and today Cash Karo is the largest cashback and coupons app. If any of you are shopping online on Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, abhi to in fact Black Friday weekend hai, so a lot of sales are live everywhere. You have to basically go to the Cash Karo app, and then Cash Karo से Amazon, Flipkart किसी भी साइट पे जाके शॉप करना है. जो भी आप खरीदेंगे उस पे आपको हमारी तरफ से एक्स्ट्रा कैशबैक मिलेगा, which is on top of all other sales discounts, and you can transfer it to your bank. So it's real cash. So that's the value proposition. We drive about 4,000 crores worth of sales to our partners every year. And every e-commerce site pretty much is a partner of ours, whether it's a Nykaa or a Pepperfry or Mama Earth or Boat, whichever e-commerce site you see, because we're a great way for them to acquire customers at a less price. And other than that, personally speaking, of course, we'll cover a lot more in the journey. But my husband Rohan and I run the business together, so we probably end up spending a lot more time than most couples. And there is a different dynamic towards working together. And we also have other businesses. We have Earn Karo, which is a deal commerce app. So any of you, if you have networks in your Telegram, WhatsApp, you can actually use Earn Karo to make your affiliate links and share deals. If anyone buys from your link, you earn the money, right? So it's like affiliate marketing and enabling you to become an affiliate of any e-commerce site directly. इतने सारी sites पे tie up करने की जगह you can get affiliate links from Earn for yourself, जिसको आप कहीं पे भी share कर सकते हो. We have Bank Karo as well, where we are giving cashback on credit cards and loans, which is what brings me here because that is our fintech arm. We have Buy Karo as well, where you can shop directly and get the cheapest prices online. So we have a lot of different businesses. We have a team of about 400 people based in Gurgaon. Some part of it is Chennai as well. And personally, I'm quite active on social media. So if any of you are posting, you can tag me at SwatiDB on Instagram, Swats26 on Twitter. I don't know what else platform people really use now, but pretty much those two. Otherwise, search karne mein mil hi jayega. So I built from zero, and now I have close to about 500,000 followers across channels. And it's a journey. It takes time. There's really no other route to it. Your turn now.
Yes, absolutely. You used the two keywords, savings and income or earning, which humans love. So I'm not even surprised that Cash Karo is doing so well, right? Because it just seems like it's in the DNA of the business. Um, for me, when it comes to me, yes, I'm Reshma Budhia and I'm the co-founder at Toss the Coin. We are a B2B tech marketing consulting company, and we work with organizations to really reimagine their strategy and their content. It is not about doing what has to be done every day, because they have great marketing teams and they do a good job. But when you want to do something creative, something weirdly creative, that is where we come into the picture, because we don't shy away from hearing a no. That is something that I've learned as a part of my upbringing. I think I, of course, grew up in Kolkata and studied in Bangalore, got married and moved to Chennai. Right, so that is a little, just a very small journey, but a very interesting journey. Being a original Bangalorean, I love Chennai. By the way, for the record, I think it's a great city to live in, and nobody agrees. So I like to mention that. I've actually just done my bachelor's in science. I didn't get a chance to do an MBA, and I think that's why for the last 10 years I've been doing a course every year. So I try and, I've done as many possible courses with Harvard, I've done with Stanford. I just go ahead and do it because I'm probably trying to fill that gap. But it also helps me understand what's happening today. I am a design thinking specialist, so we talk to businesses about the discovery journey. We talk to them about what it takes to do innovation, because it's very easy to say be innovative, but is there a method to that madness, right? And design thinking gives us that method to the madness. uh, of course, like you must have guessed, we are hardcore creative problem solvers. So we believe that creativity is about being. Half the time people say, hey, I'm not creative, I'm a numbers person, I can't dance, I can't sing, and I'm like, that's art. Are you creative? Do you understand jugaad? If you do, you are a creative problem solver.
Indians are very creative, so we are
Exactly.
all creative when it comes to jugaad.
Absolutely. So that is where the journey has been, and it's going great. Uh, I love it. Let's put it like that. And it just shows in whatever we do, right? Great. So I think that was a good start. Now, what I thought we could do as a conversation with you is, see, we are a date. So it's only fair that I actually, categorize the questions under DATE, just so that all of you know that when E comes, yeah, this is probably the last question, but also because it just gave me the right keywords for what I want to learn from you, Swati. So let's take the first one, which is D for discovery, right? Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. No, that's fine.
I'm trying to tell her keep it portrait mode. Yeah.
Thank you. So, D for discovery, right? And I think for a founder, because we're talking about confessions of a founder, right? Discovery is probably the longest journey, and it is also probably the most important journey, especially because at least personally for me, it has been about learning my leadership style, learning what kind of company I want to build, what is the niche that I'm growing in. So from that angle, what has the discovery of Cash Karo, what has the discovery of you as a founder been like?
I think for me, discovery started first with discovery of idea, right? And I think that is where most founders spend the most time as well, because hitting the right idea is important. Otherwise, you have to change it. So for us, it happened because when we look at it, we were looking for a good product market fit, and we felt that Kashkaro and India, there is a good product market fit. People like to save money in India. Kashkaro is giving money right in the hands. E-commerce is growing. Sites, brands will need a way to acquire customers. So can we solve it for them? Which is what we're doing by saying that you pay us only for sales, and us commission में से हम cashback दे रहे हैं. So therefore, for brands like Myntra, Amazon, they're spending so much on Google, Facebook to get traffic, but not really sales. By the time you calculate the cost of a buying customer, it's above 2,500 in Indian e-commerce today. So uski jagah, if you give 20% commission to Kashkar or 10% or 30%, that it makes a lot of sense. So discoverability for us happened because we looked at the opportunity, the size of the business that can be built in India, And then over time, of course, Rohan and I discovered what are we good at, because I worked at Goldman Sachs. I was from investment banking. I had zero, any information about the outside world because it was LSE and Goldman and it was all finance. So when we came here, I actually went to LinkedIn and I wrote to all the journalists saying, "Can we meet? I want to introduce my business." And that is how I discovered that actually I was good at it, and I was good at building those relationships. It was coming naturally to me. I was enjoying as well, and I was able to connect with people at a human level and build a relationship. Uske baad kaam jaan nahi hua, but it wasn't really top of mind when I was meeting people as well. So I discovered that. Then my other sort of big learning was that when you start a business and over time we are all focused on building a team and how do we become a good manager. So we learn delegation, time management, productivity hacks. But then to run a business and being an entrepreneur, you really have to move from being a manager to a leader. And how do you make that jump? How do you make that transition? That transition is everything. And over time, when you discover that you have it in you, or if you don't, you work on it and build it in you, and then you see that different side of you emerging, getting better every day. I mean, I know that today I'm better at so many things compared to 10 years ago, and I'm hoping that 5 years later I will be a much better version compared to what I am now. So that discovery is important. And I think for Rohan as well, he came from finance, but today he knows Power Query, Power BI. We have a data driven culture at Kashkaro. He codes himself. He knows SEM, SEO, everything on his own. I mean, look at him. He's discovered that there is this whole part of him that would have never really come out. So we work on ourselves, and then we do that. But I think the interesting part of being an entrepreneur is that you also help others discover about themselves. So the things that our teams are able to do. Yesterday it was Rohan's birthday. Some of you were telling me you saw on my Instagram, and in the office some people who were speaking about Rohan were like, you asked us to do things that we never knew we could, and now we are good at it. And I think that discovery which the startup enables in employees, in team members, is really important. It's an important part of learning and growth, which is why I would encourage all of you to actually spend some time in a startup. It's a different side of you that will come up probably.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think one of the biggest DNA that the largest of enterprise miss is the startup DNA. That's become the buzzword, right? Everybody's saying, oh, we are an enterprise with the heart of a startup. So you know that they're missing that vibe and they're missing that DNA. So I think that's a great point that you mentioned, especially when you're talking about discovering it with your life partner. What is that? What was that journey like?
Well, Rohan and I have, we never really sat down and we said, ye tera, ye mera hai. We were more like, what are we gravitating towards? What do we feel we are good at? So, PR, investor relations, brand, social media, a lot of marketing, HR, all of that came to me. Tech, data, some of the product related stuff, all that went to Rohan. And he was enjoying that, and I would hate doing that. And I was enjoying this, and he's like, can you please take care of it? So it just happened. And with investors as well, there are a lot of people who ask me that, as a woman founder, and especially if it's a couple, why is the guy not leading investor efforts? Don't you feel that as a woman you will be, you'll get less interest compared to the guy? And I can tell you, no, it's never happened with me. I feel like we have been able to, we've raised about 230 crores so far. And from Kalari Capital, Mr. Ratan Tata, Korea Investment Partners, Affle Global, we've got international investors on board. I have personally gone and pitched our KIP. Pitch was actually in Seoul in a room of 30 Korean men who I don't even know if they understood English or what I was saying. But I did my pitch there and we got them to invest. So there's a lot that you can do and you will end up doing. And that's why I always say to women as well that if you are out there, don't even think about it that you're a woman and can you do this or can you not. We're all entrepreneurs. Gender comes next.
Wow, that's a brilliant sentence that we're all entrepreneurs and gender comes next. Because I think then that mindset is different, right? You're approaching the whole thing as an entrepreneur, not a women entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
of course, consciously, I was trying to, make sure that we continue to talk about founders as a gender neutral conversation, just so that everybody here relates. So I'm very happy that you actually brought that up, which, of course, brings me to the next letter of date, which is A. And it's a very different word that I want to focus on with A. which is ambiguity, because this is one word that not many founders talk about. Actually, not many people talk about. I have been in meetings with leadership of large companies, and they look at numbers because numbers are not ambiguous. And of course, you're a numbers person, so I'm sure you understand that. But as founders, I think our life is about ambiguity. In fact, thankfully, I personally believe that there are frameworks that can help you declutter the ambiguity, which means you use creativity and then you embrace ambiguity, and that's how you become a problem solver. It's that beautiful journey which cannot be completed without ambiguity, right? So, I want to ask you, for you, what are the different, you must have faced those confusions, those days of indecisive days and ambiguity. How do you embrace that every day?
Well, the first thing is, I'm sure you all read that startups 3, 4 years ago were talking about GMV, right? How much GMV are we doing, the gross merchandise value? And then suddenly, when things start getting tight, the focus goes to revenue. Things start getting tighter, the focus goes to profitability. So the first thing is that when you raise money, you're trying to think that what is the metric that my board wants me to focus on? What is the metric that my investors want me to focus on? But at the end of the day, I really want to focus on profit because I have to pay the bill as well. Funding money is not for actually paying bills, it's for driving growth, and it has to be used in the right way. So the first ambiguity is always about which metric to optimize for. So earlier when we were fundraising, I remember Series B time, we were also focused on GMV. I used to have charts of saying, look, we've done 4,000 crores, 5,000 crores. Now all my charts are revenue. 250 crores revenue, right? It's a lower number, but it's real money, right? And that's what. So we removed that ambiguity. We used to have it in our minds. I had a very clear conversation with the board, and we said, look, align with us. Let's focus on things that build a real business. Tomorrow, if we have to do an IPO, these are the things people will care for. So let's align. So I think you can remove some of that ambiguity by active conversation. Then, of course, there is everyday ambiguity that you feel face with people, right? There are people who are clear high performers. There are some who are taking feedback and taking time to improve. There are some that are not performing, but they have great attitude and they really want to be here. They really don't want to go. So at every step, you have to take those tough calls. You could call it ambiguity, you could call it tough calls, but at the end of the day, you do need to optimize. You need to go with your gut. There are also things that can happen within business functions. I mean, I mentioned we have cash karo, earn karo, buy karo, bank karo. We also have a cash karo store network that actually operates on field. So sometimes when you look at different businesses, we're like, is each business profitable? इसका क्या करें, कितना टाइम और दें इसको, राइट? कितना टाइम और दें कि अभी और टाइम दें क्योंकि लोग कोशिश कर रहे हैं, या should we say कि no, cut your losses in one side and focus on the other? Lot of different decisions, and we reap what we sow, but then you put some of it down to experience as well.
Yeah, and do you find it easy to come out of not a great decision? How do you cope up with that?
I'm okay with that, because I think that this is life, and the entrepreneurship journey, why I got onto it was to learn as well. And learnings don't always mean knowing what's the right thing to do. Learning might mean, having said that, I do feel that you have to take calculated risks and you have to do a lot of research into that decision. You can't say कि ज़्यादा सोचा नहीं जल्दी में कर दिया, put it down to learning. That also doesn't work. So you have to do your research, build an informed conviction, something. So I use this as a as a threshold, that if tomorrow I have to justify to the board, can I justify that I did the right thing? As long as my own reasoning is in place, yes, some things don't go your way sometimes, but at least I should not be in a position where I don't look enough researched itself, and therefore I could have avoided making that mistake.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, somehow a lot of times I get put in a situation where we listen to the vision of our clients, and their internal team is not able to translate it into actual goals and action points, and now we are coming from outside and we have to do it, and we also get it wrong. And then you have to sit across the table with that client, but then they understand your intent was right, but it
It's
is,
harder for you because
yeah.
it's easier to blame the external party.
Exactly, and exactly. Thank you for that, everybody. So I think so. Then it's about being okay with going back to the drawing board. Somewhere, as long as we are okay to keep going back to the drawing board and starting again, ambiguity becomes just one other factor that you embrace. So good. I think that was nice. Thank you for that. So the third letter, of course, is T. And for founders, trust me, and also just for leaders, it's not for founders. It is one of the most important word, which is T for thrive. We are all trying to thrive in the workplace. We are all trying to create a happy, I would say, happy days. Forget life. वो तो बहुत, that's really big, right? Happy days, happy moments. At Toss the Coin, we take happiness very seriously. We have this whole principle of abundance, abundant security, abundant loyalty, abundant opportunities, abundant learning, right? And I think that has been like really following what Cash Grow is doing. I've heard a lot of interviews and conversations that your team has had on social media, and I can tell you that the vibe is of a very content, happy, but driven workforce, right? And you don't get all three at the same time. Sometimes one of them is missing, and that shakes the whole foundation. So, how did you build a thriving workplace, and how did you start having those kind of right conversations so that what you believe in as values becomes a part of such a large organization with 400 people? It's not easy that they all believe in the same values as you.
I think you're very right. I do feel that we're very lucky that to have a content and driven and happy workplace. So in our office as well, we have posters which say "My happy place," and um, जब poster लगाया था, I was the only one posing next to it because obviously I had put it. But then the good thing is that now I see a lot of people taking their photos on their own with those kind of posters, and I think it's because of the focus that we have given to building a good company culture. It has been, if you ask me, one of, if you say what is your achievement over the last 10 years, I would definitely say the ability to have built a good company culture is one of them, and it's something that I have personally worked very hard for. And simple things like, for example, when COVID started, everybody was working from home. We were working from home for 3 years actually. So first few days it was fine. Then I was thinking, "ये हो क्या रहा है? There's everybody's in their own zone. पता ही नहीं कि कौन क्या कर रहा है. How do we connect?" So we used to, our working hours typically are 9:30 to 6:30. So I told everybody that when we start our day, let's do a video call at 9:30 and let's do like a CK morning show. We just started calling it CK morning show based on like some breakfast show or something. ऐसे ही मैंने बोला CK morning show, and then actually that name stuck, and the CK morning show runs till today, 3 years later. And what we do is every morning everybody logs in at 9:30. I mean, you are on your way to work, some people have reached home, some are working from home, wherever you are. So we wish people jinka birthday hai, we celebrate work anniversaries, we welcome new joiners, people who have joined recently, but you don't really know them. We have them as guests on the CK Morning Show, and there's a different person who's hosting the show every day. So there is a so imagine like you have this platform every day where you are connecting with people. I am on the call every day as well. So and I haven't missed it. Apart from maybe a few days when I had my kidney transplant. That also, when I was in the hospital, when I was back home, I was still attending the CK morning show every day. And people used to see me. They used to be like, "Hey, you're doing okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm here on the call." So that connect which we are able to build in the company, that actually has been a game changer. And then initially I used to do the hosting. Used to talk to people. Now I have limited role to play in it. Different people are hosting. Different people are guests. Others are coming in, and it's really nice when somebody who joined 3 months later, who's the host today, is welcoming someone else and saying, "Welcome to the Cash Karo family. I'm having such a good time here. I hope you will also adjust well." And I'm like, that is achievement, right? It's not me talking, it's them talking to each other, sharing their own experiences. And great, we could do it because we made appreciation a very important cornerstone of our company culture. So we have a town hall every quarter where we are doing awards. Every day, actually, the morning show is about appreciation. जिसकी भी जिसका birthday होता है, work anniversary hoti hai, their team is wishing them, saying good things about them. And you can see those people have a spark the entire day because you start your day being appreciated and being thanked for the efforts that you put in. I think in India, to travel 1.5 hours and get to work every day, you deserve a thank you just for that, by the way, because it's not easy, with traffic, with pollution, with so much, right? And women who are actually making lunch at home in the morning and then getting to work. So a lot of nuances that we pick up. And I think, the other values that we have: ownership, hustle, respect, raise the bar, friendship. Some of our values are also so cohesive, right? When you look at respect, the idea is that you can do whatever you want with each other. You can argue, but you must not forget that respect is a value. Remember that. So these kind of things that we inculcate more. We have a buddy program. So I have seen that investing in company culture has a direct result in your company's success, because happy professionals make for successful professionals. They contribute better when people are happy, right? So my only thing with people is that you have to be happy at work. If you're not happy, tell me why. If it is because of your own performance, either we will help you get there, or we may not be the right place for you, and that's okay as well. But what else is it? And we focus a lot on learning and development. We have every quarter plans. Even HR is trained on Excel. Even social media is trained on Excel, because we're a data driven organization. You need to be able to work your pivots and your Excels. So especially Rohan and I, coming from Goldman and finance, we're very focused on it. So I think it's possible for everybody to achieve a good company culture, but do you think it's important enough to invest your time in it? That is the question, and I would say it is.
Absolutely. In fact, I remember for the first, we only started hiring after 5 years of Toss the Coin. And the first year when we started hiring, even for that one person, we were doing a culture conversation. So I can completely understand where you're coming from. Is that a hard read? Because we have another letter to go in your name. Great. Okay, so which brings me, of course, to E of date, and I think this is another important word, but I'm going to twist it around a bit. So E, of course, is for empathy because it's a buzzword, but no, not just for that. Actually, we all know that this world needs kindness, and this world needs diversity, and it needs inclusion, and the starting point is empathy. Luckily for all of us, scientifically it's proven that there are methods to try and build empathy. It is not something that you have to learn, it doesn't have to be in your genes, right? You can actually inculcate it with daily short practices, and then it shows in your customer side. And as founders, though, we are used to empathizing every day. I don't even want to talk about it because the whole world talks about it. What I really want to ask here is, look, how do we generate that empathy for us founders? We are fighting every day. We are going out there, putting ourselves out there and exposing ourselves every day. And at the same time, we need cheerleaders. We need somebody to say, hey, good job. Hey, don't worry, you will get up again. Don't. So we all need cheerleaders. And I especially want to understand your perspective because I know you went through the whole kidney transplant last year, and you it can break people down, right? And then when you come back, it could convert into sympathy. And I know from all of the reading I've done, it never converted into sympathy. You always used it to your advantage to empower others to be healthy. So how did you create that cheerleading squad for yourself? How do we all learn that?
I think I have definitely been very lucky because I've got so much love from everyone, over the last couple of years. And I mean, before that also, but more so last couple of years. So last year, actually, I had a kidney problem since 20 years. I was in college when I was diagnosed, and I was in LSE that time. And my parents were like, "Oh, do you want to come back to Ambala?" And I said, "No, Ambala, ke kya hoga? This is." I mean, I believe that everyone has their share of problems, and I'm sure each one of you does. And this was mine, right? And I was just glad that problem bata ke aaye, kai bari to bina bataye aati hain problems, and then you can't do anything. So I was always grateful that problem bata ke aaye hai, kar lo, you have to deal with it, whatever it is. So I took really good care of myself while working hard all the time, because those were my jobs. But I managed to make my, the kidneys last for 20 years. Then last year it was almost like 1 year and 2 months. So I used to go into meetings knowing that this year I am going to need a transplant, because I am operating on 5.5 hemoglobin and 5% kidney function. And but the doctor said 5% can last you a few months. I said, "Utne mera fundraise ho jayega. जब तक हो जाएगा तब तक it's okay, and simultaneously we were doing tests with my mom to know that I have a donor ready. So fortunately my mom qualified to be a donor. And then I sped up on the fundraise as well. So we got an offer from Apple. And I remember when we got the term sheet, I told the founder itself that, look, I have this issue, I'm going to get a transplant in November. Before you sign the term sheet, you should know it. But I can tell you this much, that I'm like, I'm all prepared for it. And once I'm fine, I mean, of course I'm going to be back home at work. I have to be careful to not catch an infection. So in fact, I'll be more on my laptop. I'll be probably working more than before. He said, I have no doubt. we're not changing any terms, we're going ahead with the investment. So we went ahead, and I remember on 4th November we did a full press release. We did a town hall next day in the office, and that was Friday. And Monday I went to the hospital because I was like, I'm all done, I'm all checked out, so this is the right time to do it. 2 weeks I was in the hospital. I got my
It has to be about discovering yourself. So that for us was date, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, before I end, just a quick 2 minutes. I just have rapid fire of 5 questions, single word or single line or single paragraph. I don't care. I love listening. So you can just give me the answer. So the first one is, what's your biggest pet peeve? Something that is a big no. Typos. That you do in when you get into office.
I just want to connect with people. I want to know everybody is fine. And because if they are not, then I mean, how will they really be working? I would rather have a chat with them.
Absolutely. And are you a coffee or a chai person?
I'm actually water. I don't take much tea or coffee, but
Oh,
sometimes I like tea more than
okay.
coffee.
If you had to pick between a busy work day and a relaxed
May as
work
well
day,
be busy.
yeah, I thought so. I mean, you wouldn't like a relaxed work day at all. And finally, integrity or loyalty. Is there a choice between the two when it comes to your people?
Integrity. Because, it's important to be honest. If they're not honest and they start hiding things, we just won't know where we are going. Tomorrow, if you don't want to stay here, you want to go somewhere else, that's your choice. I respect that. But while you're here, be honest.
So, finally, what's the legacy you want to leave behind, Swati?
I think it's a legacy of fight of resilience. And resilience is can be seen in your personal life. It can be seen in professional life. But I think resilience is what helps you get through, and that's what helps you achieve your goals.
Nice. That was really nice. In fact, thank you for all the confessions that you made. It just tells us that we are not alone and we are all doing the best that we can with what has been dealt to us, right? And just listening to leaders like you, it continues to inspire me because people who didn't think they would listen to something like this, it could bring that one aha moment. And sometimes that's all it takes.
Oh, thank you so much. She herself has been so inspirational, right? So please do check out her stall. It looks one of the best. I told her that, I have not seen stalls that look so beautiful, but Toss the Coin is one. And Cash Karo and Toss the Coin, they kind of paired us, I think.
Absolutely. With the coin in her name and the cash in yours. I think it goes really well. No, absolutely. Thank you for that shout out. We do have a booth, Toss the Coin, right outside, so you won't miss it with a nice vibe and a brick wall. But thank you for that, Swati. See, that's the thing. That's your inherent quality. Cheerleading constantly without having to ask for it, right? People don't cheerleader moderators at all. I was fighting with them for that title itself. कि भैया moderator बना दोगे तो कोई मुझे नहीं सुनेगा.
No, no, no. Anything else you want to add? The stage is yours.
No, no, thank you so much. I'm just being authentic. But thank you everybody for giving your time. And I think this was one of the best conversation I've had. So I
Thank you
hope
so
to
much.
stay in touch.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, everybody. All the best.
Thank you, everyone. Can we please have a big round of applause for them, please? And can we have a photograph, please, as well? For Swati and Reshma. And that was definitely some inspiring conversation we just heard. Can